In the United States, kicking someone with 4 legs is a fast track to a federal prison and a permanent spot on the internet's most hated list. You don't do it. It's illegal. It's immoral, and your neighbor's golden retriever has better health insurance than you do. But there is one 4-legged creature that humanity attacks with zero hesitation. It has no heartbeat, no soul, and it has been standing in the same spot in your living room since 2012. The coffee table. Nobody is stupid enough to kick a coffee table like it's a soccer ball. And now, you and I are both here. The corner of a coffee table and the pinky toe have a long, violent history. That's what makes it dangerous. It doesn't need your permission. It just needs you to not be paying attention for like 3 seconds. Your toe is essentially just bone wrapped in skin and tendons. No cushion, no shock absorption. All the force goes straight into the bone. Your toe literally said, "I'll take the whole thing, thanks." Your toes are packed with many receptors, called nociceptors. Your toe fires pain signals in 2 waves. The first one hits instantly, sharp, surgical, personal. That's your nervous system saying, "Noted." The second one arrives about 2 seconds later. That's your nervous system saying, "No, seriously, I want to make sure you understand." 2 hits, 1 coffee table, 0 remorse. Like there's a loading bar, your brain processing the tragedy in real time. And upon receiving this news, your brain immediately authorizes the release of every word your parents told you never to say. There's actually a name for this, Lalachesia. Medically approved, scientifically necessary. Tell your mom.
Oh, shit! Fuck!
Unless your parents are home, then you're going to get a slipper to the face. Someone on the internet invented a foam helmet for the pinky toe. Which means I'm not alone, which means this is a crisis, which means the coffee table is still winning. I swear the universe has beef with my feet. You can't unstub your toe, but you can subscribe to feel better about your nervous system's incompetence. And speaking of things that attack you without warning, meet an enemy that has been preparing for this moment for 2,000 years. In 105 AD, a Chinese court official named Kai Lun presented Emperor He Huan with one of the greatest inventions in human history. Lightweight, flexible, infinitely reproducible. Paper. Kai Lun was celebrated. Promoted to a position of great honor, his invention would go on to carry the words of philosophers, poets, and emperors across 2,000 years of human civilization. He had no idea what he was also creating. Weighing in at 80 grams per square meter, armed with absolutely nothing, and somehow winning a 1v1 against a 200-pound apex predator. This is Justin. Dude, I just sliced my finger on printer paper. Your pain is irrelevant, Justin. So stupid. It hurts way more than you'd think. Buddy, I know. Devastation. Pure devastation. Now, here's the thing nobody tells you. Paper isn't cutting you. It's sawing. It's a microscopic massacre performed by a stationary supply. Under a microscope, the edge of a sheet of paper looks less like a blade and more like a mountain range designed by a sadist. Thousands of tiny jagged teeth dragging across your skin, tearing instead of slicing. A razor gives you a clean cut. Paper gives you a war crime. Honestly, it reminds me of a certain 1930s dictator, just without the mustache. Anyway, your brain, in its infinite paranoid wisdom, packed roughly 3,000 nerve endings into every square centimeter of your fingertips. For context, your forearm has about 30. Paper has known this for 2,000 years. It has never once attacked an elbow. It goes straight for the fingertip, every time, without fail. Evolution built it this way on purpose. Fingers are your primary tools for exploring the world. As an early warning system, this is evolution's way of keeping us from touching stuff we definitely shouldn't touch. A feature, not a bug, until paper shows up and that feature becomes a problem. But here's where it gets personal. Paper cuts almost never bleed, which sounds like a good thing. It's not. Deep cuts bleed, and bleeding is actually doing you a favor. Blood clots. Clotting seals the wound, covers the nerve endings. It tells your brain to shut up. A paper cut? It refuses to bleed. It prefers to narrate every single thing you touch for the next 4 days. Typing? They know. Fabric? They know. Your fingers never get a day off, and neither does the cut. And then you wash your hands, and the soap hits the cut. Yeah. That's a religious experience you did not ask for. In 105 AD, Kai Lun stood before the emperor and presented his gift to civilization. Scrolls of philosophy, maps of the known world, letters between dynasties. 2,000 years later, his inventions is sitting on your desk, and it just made Justin meet God in a gas station bathroom. He's holding a stapler. Gutenberg invented the printing press in 1440 and accidentally declared war on humanity's fingertips. History books won't tell you that because the historians were too busy sucking on their wounded index fingers. Anyway, the only remaining question is whether counting a fresh stack of bills counts as an occupational hazard. Because honestly, still worth it. Paper cut, a war crime performed by Stationery Supply. If you think a sheet of paper is sadistic, you're not ready for the final boss at the end of this video. There is a metallic predator living in your pants that's been waiting for the perfect moment to take a hostage. You've been warned. Statistically speaking, you have eaten human flesh at least once in your life. Possibly more. You didn't notice. Nobody stopped you. No laws were broken. Technically. The victim, by the way, was you. The perpetrator was also you. And the weapons, we'll get to it in a moment. We are now in court. The charge, cannibalism. The accused, you. The victim, a VIP politician. Who? One you've never heard of, one nobody talks about, one who has been quietly running the most sensitive operation in your entire body. Your tongue. Your tongue is one of the most nerve-dense organs in your body. In terms of nerve endings per square centimeter, your tongue is the head of state, the CEO, the 5-star general. And your teeth, biological bone crushers, just treated your tongue like a $1 menu snack. Accidentally, at lunch. The court is not impressed. Now, how does this actually happen? Chewing is basically a background app your brainstem runs automatically. Tongue positions the food, jaws come down, tongue moves. But if you're not focused, like if you're talking while eating or mentally drafting my next video, your brain gets a Joe Biden moment. It lags, pretty much. Your internal OS crashes. The jaw slams down 80 milliseconds too early. It's not a meal anymore. It's a domestic terrorist attack. You freeze in place like a glitch, trying to act normal while your soul briefly leaves your body. Your tongue, the 5-star general, doesn't just hurt. It feels betrayed. It's currently filing a formal complaint to the nervous system, demanding a budget cut for the jaw and a permanent restraining order against your molars. And then, the cover-up begins. Your tongue swells up after the first bite, bigger than before, but your brain is still running on the old tongue map, the pre-bite, pre-swollen coordinates. So, you bite the exact same spot again. Honestly, it's just as dumb as running back to your ex. Even a goldfish is watching you right now thinking, I forget things in 3 seconds and even I don't do that. No wonder everyone prefers swallowing tongues instead, and by that I mean French kissing. Which, for the record, involves someone else's teeth near your tongue. Choose your cannibal wisely, although it won't protect you from what happens next. Louis XIV was the most powerful man in 17th century Europe. He built Versailles, ruled with an iron fist, and had an entire kingdom at his beck and call. But every night at 3 a.m., the Sun King would wake up screaming like a toddler. And the reason why is the exact same reason you're currently fighting for your life in bed at 3 in the morning. Nocturnal cramps. I swear, this one might be the most ridiculous pain on this list because you can't even be awake to deserve it. Louis was short and insecure, so he invented a solution. High heels. He spent all day straining his calf muscles trying to walk like a fabulous 17th century diva. The most powerful man in France, completely undone by his own footwear. But Louis had a king solution. He kept a literal squad of servants by his bed, whose only job was to sprint over and massage the royal calves the second they heard a royal shriek. You don't wear heels, and you definitely don't have a massage squad. You're just sleeping, having a great dream, and suddenly, the betrayal. Your spinal cord suffers a massive system error. It sends one high priority, urgent message to your calf muscle. Contract! Hard! Now! The muscle is a loyal soldier, but a stupid one. It clamps down so hard it cuts off its oxygen supply and starts screaming. That's the cramp. Your own body just committed a hate crime against you while you were unconscious. Now, growing up, my mom always blamed a lack of calcium. Eat more shrimp, eat more crab, she'd yell from the kitchen. Which is great advice, Mom, but Louis XIV had all the calcium in France, and he still woke up feeling like his leg was being folded by hydraulic press. Also, it's not like I didn't want to eat the shrimp, you just never bought any. I'm out here fighting a 17th century war with 0 seafood and 0 servants. So, the next time your leg turns into a rock in the middle of the night, just remember, you're experiencing the exact same quote-unquote royal treatment as the guy who built Versailles. Crown not included. In terms of global military threats, nobody ever mentions Denmark. That's a mistake. For decades, the Danes have produced roughly 400 billion high-performance landmines and distributed them into every single living room on Earth. You don't call them weapons, you call them Legos. Lego was founded in 1932 by a carpenter named Ole Kirk Christiansen. The name comes from the Danish words leg godt, meaning play well. Ole's original mission was to bring joy to children, to build something that lasts, to create a toy so well engineered that it would survive generations. He succeeded. That's the problem. It's 2 a.m. You're getting water, walking through the dark with the confidence of a man who hasn't checked his bank account in a week. Somewhere on that floor, a 2x4 brick is waiting. It's been sitting there since Tuesday, completely unbothered. It doesn't have a heartbeat, but it definitely has a motive. But it definitely has a mission. Ole's mission. Play well. Your foot has 200,000 nerve endings on the sole alone, designed to protect you. Every single one on duty tonight. The brick is made from ABS plastic, acrylonitrile butadiene styrene, one of the most durable materials in consumer manufacturing. A Lego brick can withstand 950 pounds of force without deforming. You weigh, let's say, 155 pounds, which means when your foot comes down, all 155 pounds of you gets redirected straight back into your sole by a surface that didn't even register you were there. The brick absorbed nothing, deflected nothing, compromised nothing. You gave it everything, it gave it all back, with interest. And the design itself, the studs aren't sharp, sharp would be too kind. A blade slices, a Lego intrudes. Those round studs are perfectly sized to concentrate your entire body weight into a single point of soft tissue. A surgical strike on your dignity performed by a children's toy at 2 in the morning in your own home. Deep enough to make you see the fourth dimension. Shallow enough that you can't call an ambulance without looking like a coward. If Lego ever got into the smartphone business, Nokia would be filed under fragile antiquities. If the CIA ever replaced waterboarding with a hallway full of 2x4 bricks, they'd have the location of every rebel base in 30 seconds. Even the Geneva Convention is quiet about this, probably because the delegates are too busy limping. Ole, who wanted to bring joy to children, inadvertently created a legacy that tortures adults. That is the profound and unintended consequence of striving for perfection. That's the cruelest part. There was no malice, just excellence.